Hello, my name is Omar Abasad. It is April 20th, 2018 at 3:10 p.m. in Toronto. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the ongoing targeting that I'm experiencing. Again, the ongoing submissions of information, misinformation, I should say, by people in the building mainly because I'm home. So people around you in your environment will make these submissions. So again, any submissions that I'm having, any claims that I'm having mental health episodes are lies. This is just these verbalizing episodes. I would call them are not mental health episodes. These are episodes of venting to deal with the stress that's being caused by the harassment. So I'm going to talk about some of the comments I hear. These are consistent comments I hear that the cops think I'm mentally insane. Don't call the cops because they think I'm mentally insane. So that's a fact because they told me so in my home. So, and also it's a fact because when I called 911 saying I was being harassed as a prostitute, and this was which was true, and very common because I was being monitored as one in the area. Because I'm being harassed with the comment that you're being monitored as one. This is how I know. So the idea that the cops think that you're mentally insane, therefore we can target you and you cannot call the cops, is being used to escalate the targeting because it seems to be generally known in public that the cops think that I'm mentally insane, being defamed, right? Because I'm not mentally insane. And because a cop is saying so, it doesn't mean that it's true. When the police say something, they tend to say it with authority that they've investigated something, and if they say, "Well, we think that she's a prostitute," then it carries a bit of weight. There is a lot of credibility associated with the police saying something. In my case, it's not true. It's absolutely not true because I've been complaining that men were following me around for a long, long, long time. So, as to why the insistence that I am one, I'm not quite sure. I am not a prostitute, never have been, never will be. Um, According to what I'm being harassed with, I do strongly believe that I'm being remotely trafficked, which is why I'm being called a prostitute. So, so again, let me repeat. I'm not mentally insane, and there is no diagnosis of a mental illness. There is a diagnosis of symptoms of post traumatic stress disorder, and that's not long term yet because I'm dealing with the stress. And one way of dealing with it is venting, which has been recorded and taken to the magistrate and say, well, here she's saying all these things, and something's wrong with her, and this is intentionally being done because here I am saying it's venting. It's not meant for anybody's ears, but it's still being recorded and it's still being taken to the magistrate and as proof that something is wrong with me. And the cycle continues. So it's a setup, it's a frame. I'm being harassed repeatedly, criminally. Uh, some really disgusting, nauseating, upsetting comments are made. And of course, it makes you angry and upset. And you need to vent that anger, which I do, inside of my home, nowhere else, inside of my home. So this is a setup, it's a frame, and it's constantly being used. So if the police is hearing uh, this venting and saying, gee, something is wrong with her, this is not true. There's absolutely nothing wrong with me. If the harassment stops, there's not going to be any stress caused by the harassment, so there's not going to be an issue. If the flagging stops, the lies that caused the flagging in the first place stop, there's not going to be an issue. So I just wanted to say that. And there is a lot of talk about being drugged again because I'm having mental health episodes every time I verbalize about what's going on. Um, this is a very interesting suggestion because drugging has a lot of side effects, and one of it is to make you mentally and emotionally lethargic. And interestingly enough, there are claims that I am. So is it some sort of a plan to make you so? If someone's claiming that you are when you're not, does it mean that there is a plan to make you that way by drugging you? There's a pattern. First, there's a claim that you're mentally ill, and then there are steps taken to make you look like you're mentally ill, and then there are steps taken to make you really mentally ill. Then there are claims that you're a prostitute when you're not. Then there are steps taken to label you as one. Then there are steps taken to sell you remotely as one. Then there are steps taken to make you physically one. So there seemed to be a pattern. The same thing goes for drugging. It's all part of a targeting program to degrade, dehumanize, and dispose. And right now, I am looking for work because all of this targeting is blacklisting me, and people are putting blocks in my way, because right now the community team wants me home sick to be gerbiled and to be home trained before I'm sold again in another workplace, which it's a continuation of what happened in the past, starting about 6 years ago. So this cycle needs to stop. The cycle, excuse me, the cycle of training or trying to train to become a slave. I heard the term, you're a slave, a sex slave, in other words, which means that you're gerbil trained, intimidated into not talking, and sold, basically. And when you don't listen, you're going to be tortured with microwaves and lasers. This is exactly what's happening here. So this needs to stop. It really needs to stop because I am positive. I'm absolutely positive that this is going on covertly, in a lot of cases right throughout the world. And if this is happening in a country like Canada, and I'm openly talking about it and openly exposing it, and nothing is being done about it, could you imagine what's happening in third world countries? In countries like Pakistan and India, in the Caribbean. Could you imagine what is happening? The people who may be in power in some of these countries who are targeting certain sectors of the population, or this is the infiltrated people in power. I shouldn't say the entire government in these countries, but there are certain people in the government that will be infiltrated. Could you imagine what they will do with parts of the population that is not on their side? So this kind of stuff should not be happening. And again, women are not the only victims. Everyone is victimized, could be victimized this way. Men, women, kids, pets. It really doesn't matter. And pets are tortured to torture the owner. Spend money, spend time, emotional energy. So this technology that's being used, this remote technology, um, hard to trace, hard to prove, and have all the signs. The result of being assaulted with these technologies have all the signs of making you look like you're mentally ill. And there's an article I posted on my Twitter account about the sonic attacks that happen in Cuba. Very, very good example of people getting really sick and not having any cause, any physical reason to be sick. So these things are done. It is being done, and the people who are affected in this country they were professionals, educated people. So they definitely wouldn't be lying about what they experienced, and they heard sounds, buzzing, vibration, noises, funny noises. That and these are all indications of sonic technology, sonic weapons. So some of these symptoms that these people are experiencing, I experienced right here in this unit, and some of the noises and so on, I hear them as well. These are not voices in your head. These are not voices in the head. These are sounds and vibrations and all sorts of audio stimulation that is externally caused. It's not in your head. So this is validation of the fact um, that remote technologies are being used to harass people and make them really sick very quickly. Talk to you another time.